Today we're going to be practicing our pictographs. So a pictograph uses pictures to show how many items are in each category. They have a title that tells us the data that's being collected. There is also a key that tells us the value of a symbol. Okay, so let's look at this graph down here below. We can see that one whole cupcake, stands for 2 cupcakes. So just because we see one cupcake picture doesn't mean it's just one cupcake. We have to look at the key. And the key is telling us that one of these cupcake pictures equals 2 cupcakes. So then what is half of a cupcake? You're right, it would be just 1 cupcake, right? So 1 cupcake, and then if this was a full cupcake, that would make a whole, and it would equal 2 cupcakes, right? Okay, so just like we mentioned before, pictographs also have a title, and then all our choices are listed here. Okay, so this is how we would read this graph. If we were asking for how many vanilla cupcakes were sold, we would look at the vanilla row and know that each of these cupcakes is worth 2 cupcakes, so we'd be counting 2, 4, 6, 8. We'd know that there were 8 vanilla cupcakes that were sold. Now, if we were asking for how many strawberry cupcakes were sold, we'd look at the strawberry row, and again, each of these cupcakes is worth 2 cupcakes, so we'd be going 2, 4, and then we only have half a cupcake, which stands for 1 cupcake. So plus 1 cupcake equals 5. So we know that 5 strawberry cupcakes were sold. Okay, so when it asks us all together, what does it mean? It means when you add up all the totals, so the totals of each of the choices that they're asking you. So if they asked you how many strawberry and vanilla cupcakes were sold, we knew that 5 were sold here and 8 were sold here. So 8 plus 5 is... You're right, it's 12. So a total of 12 cupcakes were sold between strawberry and vanilla. Okay, so go ahead and answer these 3 questions using that graph. Now, in the next question, this picture graph shows the number of tickets sold each day in the week leading up to Friday night school concert. Answer the questions that follow. So we can see that each of these ticket symbols actually equals 10 tickets. So if we were being asked how many tickets were sold on Tuesday night, well, we would know that each of these tickets stands for 10, so we can count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So we know that on Tuesday night, 50 tickets were sold. Okay, so you can use this graph to answer question A and B, and then on question C, it tells us that 65 tickets were sold on Thursday night. We need to add this to the graph. So you now need to represent 65 tickets in this spot here on Thursday, okay? So show us that 65 tickets were sold. Remember, 1 ticket symbol equals 10 tickets, okay? All right, next, you're going to now plot this data inside this graph, okay? So we know that each ice cream cone is worth 2 votes. All right, so the question was, Mrs. French and Mr. Miskey are planning a party for their classes. The students are asked to vote for their favorite ice cream flavor. The list below are the results. 8 students in the class voted for chocolate, 7 voted for vanilla, 13 voted for chocolate chip, 8 of them voted for cookie dough, and 5 of them voted for strawberry. So, use this information from the list to complete the pictograph below and answer the questions. So you're going to go ahead and draw the symbols to represent the amount of votes. Okay, so each ice cream cone is worth 2 votes, right? So how many ice cream cones would you be drawing for chocolate? So let's start with 1, which would be worth 2. And then if we drew 2, it'd be worth 4. And then we draw another one, 6. And then we draw another one, 8. Okay, so that represents 8. 4 ice cream cones represents 8. All right, so now you're going to answer a few questions after you've filled out this whole graph. What 2 flavors did the students like the least? So they didn't like them very much. They had the fewest number of votes. Number 2, how many students voted for either cookie dough or strawberry? So either cookie dough or strawberry, that means we want the number of people who voted for cookie dough and the number of people who voted for strawberry. So all together, okay? So you need to add these 2 together. Number 3, how many more students voted for chocolate chip than vanilla? So we're finding the difference. When we find the difference, we're using what operation? Are we adding or subtracting? Right, we're subtracting to find the difference, okay? Number 4, how many votes were there in all? So in all, it's asking for all of them together. So how many people voted? How many students actually voted? You're going to add that all up, okay? All right, and that's all for today. If you have any questions, you can find us on Seesaw.